Hey guys, Devin here. So I wanted to do a video here of currently my top 5 plugins to use. So what I wanted to do here is make a video that's not just going to list the really popular ones like Serum or OTT or Fab Filter Pro Q. There's lots of other really great videos that cover those great plugins. And honestly, like if you guys have any questions about those plugins, get those ones. Fab Filter Pro Q, Serum, OTT. They're classics for a reason in this scene. But for me, I wanted to do my video more around really what I like to use, some of my little hidden ones where while they're still popular, I think they're not quite as talked about as some of these other plugins. So yeah, let's get started. So for today, we're going to be doing essentially, we're going to be working within this loop I made. Really simple, really chill. It sounds like this. Yeah, so it's basically just really relaxing, and just wanted to use a simple loop like this just to kind of show you guys what you can do with these plugins in almost any genre of music. So I know this isn't a heavy bang or anything like that, but I think a great plugin has multiple uses. So plugin number 5 is going to be RC20 Retro Color from XLN Audio. So this is a really amazing plugin to just showcase really how you can get a bunch of different retro sounding tones out of any sort of sound, which is amazing. It creates a really nostalgic and evocative texture in my music, and I really like it for that reason. So let's hear the sound it's going to be on. Sounds like this. So this is a really analog sounding pluck already. It was recorded on the Korg Prologue, one of my favorite synths. But when we add the retro color, watch what happens here. You can immediately tell that just gets this really lovely wear and tear sound. So what you can actually do here is you can use multiple different modules. So if we start kind of muting and unmuting them, you'll hear what these do. So first we have the noise. So that adds tape noise, or there's a bunch of different kinds of ones you can listen here. So you want to be careful with those because you can really kind of go overboard, but they are really, really nice noises to give that kind of evocative analog feeling. Then next up, we have my absolute favorite module and why this plugin ranks as my top 5 favorite plugin of all time, which is the wobble function. So what that does is it's going to add some old school pitch modulation into the sound to really give it that kind of like old worn out tape sound. So listen to this with and without. Yeah, really amazing sound. Then next up, you'd have a distortion. Really great analog sounding distortion. A bit crusher. Then next up, a reverb. Really vintage sounding reverb. And then finally, a magnetic, again, it's kind of tape effect. This one's more like a tremolo, kind of messes with the volume. But again, like the wobble, it simulates a plugin not recording properly, which is so funny, but so great that we spend all this money to get a perfect recording and then spend money on plugins to deteriorate that recording. But again, amazing plugin overall. So let's dial it in on this sound and we'll go on to our next sound. Great plugin, sounding good. Okay, next up, my next favorite plugin is actually going to be the 1176 compressor from Native Instruments. So very underrated compressor in my opinion. So an 1176 is a classic style of vintage compressor, and they're really great on drums, vocals, and guitars. Honestly, just about anything, but for me, I really love them on my vocals. I use them on almost any acapella I get sent, and I use them a lot on my drum groups because it just gives this amazing punch. So we're going to hear with and without. So here's the drum group without compression. And we're going to dial in some compression here. just really adds like a great punch. So let's dial that in here. You've got your list of presets, but honestly, with a compressor like this, the controls are so simple. You really just control your input gain, your output gain, the dry signal, attack and release. I personally usually like to use a higher ratio and a higher attack and a shorter release. So we're going to dial that in here. Really just adds a lot of body and character and keeps it mid-range in front, but it's pretty transparent. It doesn't sound over compressed as well. Cool. So plugin number 3, and this is really one I couldn't live without. It's going to be Melodyne. So for those of you guys that don't know, Melodyne is, in my opinion, the best vocal editing plugin ever made. So it has so many uses. You can use it on guitars. You can use it on vocals to fix pitch correction. What I'm going to show you guys how to do, though, is use it to create vocal chops. So what I use Melodyne a ton for is I'll take vocal chops. I'll take a bunch of different vocal chops and I'll sketch them out into a rhythm that I like. And then what I'll do after is I'll record them into Melodyne and then change the pitch from Melodyne. At first, this is going to sound like this. So obviously those sound kind of bad in context. Totally the wrong key. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start by going into Melodyne's scale function and snapping this to the key of C major, which the song is in. So we can correct pitch. Still doesn't sound very good, right? But that's okay, because that's where the magic of Melodyne comes in. We can go in and we can manually edit all of these notes. I'm just kind of improvising here. Then we'll go and correct the fine tune here. So already sounding better, right? And we can grab the formant here and change that. Okay, so fast forwarding there, we have a vocal chop melody we like, and now it's as simple as printing it to audio. Bounce in place, vocal chop. So there you go. So now that we have the vocal chop in place, we can just delete the Melodyne, and then we have this vocal chop that's ready to go. Cut into sections, and I like this one to repeat. So yeah, and that actually segues really nicely into my number 2 favorite plugin, which is going to be Little Altar Boy from Soundtoys. So another vocal manipulation plugin, and this really goes to show how much my music relies on vocals, whether it's vocal chops or that kind of thing. Now, Little Altar Boy is an incredible plugin. It really just has one of the most musical sounds of any plugin I've ever heard. And what it does is it's a vocal manipulation plugin that can manipulate pitch, formant, drive, as well as the stereo image. But it doesn't do so the same way as Melodyne, where you have as much control. It's really more of kind of, I would say it's more similar to almost like a distortion or a compressor or a phaser or a flanger or a chorus than it is like an auto-tune type plugin, even though there is a bit of auto-tune capability with the quantize. So let's listen to what this can do to the sound. Really just like, I find this plugin has such a pleasing sound, and it's one of the ways I get a lot of my distorted vocal chops in songs like Alone Tonight or in Clear, for example. Is it's really just, it's a great way to just like drive your vocal and turn it into an instrument rather than just a vocal chop. I hear a lot of songs nowadays in the future-based genre, and I'm like, that's clearly a vocal chop. And sometimes it's nice when your vocal chop sounds more like almost like an interesting synthesizer versus a vocal chop. I figure Porter Robinson did a really good job of that in his song Divinity. So yeah, that's Little Altar Boy. So then going to number 1, my number one most used plugin would have to be Replika XT from Native Instruments. This plugin is just honestly amazing. It's half reverb, half delay. And it's got pretty much every type of delay you would ever need in your entire arsenal. So just even browsing through some of these presets, you've got your basic right out of the box. Sounds great. The algorithm on this delay for each of the different 5 algorithms is honestly just great. You've got, we'll cycle through a couple of these so you guys can hear. Really love tape delay here. And then going for the diffusion mode, this is one diffusion preset here called Vox Angelus, which I use in literally every song. It gives this incredible cavernous reverb that's so lush. Listen to this. Beautiful. Cool. So that's one use for Replika, but why it's my number one favorite plugin is there's just so many things you can do. So if you want to have, let's say, let's get our delay on our vocal chop, and we'll move on to another section here. So what I'll use a lot is I'll automate the mix on Replika to create these just amazing textures. So let's just play around here. Let's try a couple different presets that I haven't tried before, and we'll play through them and automate them and see what they can do to this textural sound from my Matriarch Moog synth. Beautiful on that. And then final one, let's try it here on the Plux. That already sounds really good, but let's get a little bit more creative here. Let's try something interesting here. Normally I would design my sound from scratch, but another great thing about this is the presets are really good too. And they're a little bit more out there than most delay presets. Like, I don't need a delay preset to show me how to make a quarter note delay, right? That's a waste of time. What I need is a preset that really inspires me. And I think a lot of these presets do that. So let's try it on here. That's pretty cool. It's one of the granular pitch shifter modes there. So this plugin can really do almost anything, which is crazy. It's sold as a delay plugin, but really I've used it for reverbs. I've used it for vocal manipulation. I've used it for saturation. I've used it to do sidechained reverb. It's really cool. That's it. That's a wrap there, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed my top 5 plugins list. This is by no means a comprehensive list. I can list in the description some honorable mentions for sure that I also love. But really, guys, like, these are some of the 5 plugins that I use the most in my productions. If you have any questions about each one, definitely let me know. And at the end of the day, just remember that it's all up to you in the end. The creativity you bring to the table is what's going to make a great song, not some sort of expensive plugin. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.